Tell us a little bit about where you were in life before you came to Turning Point.
Well, I had been many years. I've been in restaurant management, and I've been in management most of my whole life. Years ago, I had been very successful. Worked for a company called Papa John's. You probably heard of them. Probably go there a lot. And I eventually got to a point where I was running the Georgia Dome and Georgia Bowl Congress Center. So if you ever used to go there and get a pizza, that was my team that took care of you. We were very successful, did very well. I was blessed with what we were given as a result of that. A couple years ago, a situation arose where, through nothing that we personally did, but we lost that job. So I'm unemployed. I eventually was able to pick up a job with another company that does Italian ice and gelato, again through the Congress Center, but it was about 65% of what I was making. That's been for the last 3 years. I don't have to tell you that everybody learns to spend all they made, and when you take a cut like that, it makes it kind of tense around your house a little bit. So fast forward to this last summer, I've kind of 3 years later, I've gotten a raise, but it's still very tight, and there's a lot of strife in our house. My wife and I have a lot of volume discussions about what we're going to pay and what we're not going to pay. I've been kind of harsh and judgmental with my own kids because they're old enough to get a job, but they're home but not contributing. So all of a sudden I've become a pretty mean guy. And came to a head one day. My wife said, "You used to be a really happy person, and I really wish I could get that jewel back." And started thinking about what it was that made me a happier person. And I remembered that the time that she spoke of when I really was honest and I was positive and happy was when I was in a good church family. So last summer I started looking for a new church home because I knew that was a place to start. Went to several different services at different churches in the area, and I saw a Facebook post about something called I Love the 80s, and that was I came to the first service of that called message was called "Don't Stop Believing," and to say nothing, that was different.
So you're saying you were looking for a church, and a Facebook ad about "I Love the 80s" piqued your interest, and you came to church. Who would ever imagine that God would use something like "I Love the 80s"? Come on, how many of you know God knows what He's doing? So you came, you experienced it, you came back, and then talk about how the process of where you kind of landed when you came back. What did you want to do, and what'd you do?
Okay, so I heard about Next Steps, went to the Next Steps class. Over the course of a couple classes that I went to, I heard about the 90-day challenge, and even though it didn't make any sense and it didn't really seem possible, my wife and I, we decided that, you know what, we're going to put God to the test.
So what's the 90-day challenge for those who don't know?
Okay, so the 90-day challenge is for 90 days, be honest and tithe. And if at the end of 90 days you didn't get anything out of it, we'll give you your money back. It's a money back guarantee, basically. So we started tithing. 60 days into that tithe, if you remember, I told you I was working for another company doing Italian ice, gelato, frozen stuff. We'd always been in the Georgia Dome. The Georgia Dome no longer exists. We didn't get a contract in the new building. Our owner had to make a really tough choice that in November, myself and the other 8 employees got called in, and it was like, "I'm really sorry. You guys have worked for me for a long time, but I'm going to have to lay everyone off because we have no work." In the middle of this 90-day challenge that we're tithing on, no money. But within 2 days, I got a part-time job. We decided that we would still continue to tithe at whatever it was that I was making now, which we did. Through that, God favored us, and in a part-time job, I was supposed to get 25 hours a week, and I got 45 hours a week every week since then, just to help us get by. Still less than we were making, but it was better than what they were up against. Over the months of November, December, I put out a bunch of resumes. I tried to find a new permanent income, and nothing came out of it. It was quite discouraging. It was a challenging Christmas, and really wasn't sure what was the next thing that was going to happen.
So you got a part-time job and you kept tithing, and this is going on in the middle of the 90-day challenge. So you kept tithing even on the part-time salary.
That's right. First week in January, I was working one day, and God put the name of a man that had been a mentor to me way back when I had worked for Papa John's as a multi-unit supervisor. Put his name on my mind. I called him the next day. Turns out he has moved on to another company, but in that new company, he was in a position to be hiring people that did not only managers, but multi-unit supervision like I had done. And I found out that my name was actually on a list of people that he had thought of, that when he moved up and had positions available, that he might want to reach out and talk to me. Went in for an interview, met him and a couple of the upper level people in the company. And then within a couple of days, I got a call that we don't have a position available for you right now, but because you're available, we're going to hire you and provide you with a job. It gets better. The new job is more than I was making in my old job by a substantial amount. The small company I worked for of 8 to 10 employees had no health insurance. It was a small company. The new company I'm going to work for in just a couple weeks here has full benefits. So we moved from a position of want to a position of being provided for, and I truly believe it's because we tested God, and then he turned around and tested us.
Awesome. Come on, somebody. Awesome.